So when I was working on my comic, The Scourge of 9 Point, I learned a lot about character design and what goes into a cohesive character design. So I will share all the knowledge and tips that I learned along the way. Bones also has a video about character design on our channel, which might reiterate a bunch of this stuff, but I think I'm going to tackle it from the artist's point of view. I hope. I hope I'm not just regurgitating stuff. The key takeaway to everything I'm about to talk about is that every choice for your character's design should be a representation of their personality and their purpose in the story. So I always begin with the character's personality. So what is their personality? Are they mean? Are they sweet? Are they cunning? Are they brooding? You'll probably know your character pretty well just from writing your script or brainstorming your story, but I find it really helps to write down the key points of their personality. And then what's their role in the story? Are they the hero? Are they the villain? Are they a supporting character? Are they an antagonist? Are they your hero's rival? Whatever. There's so many different roles in a story. But really think about how you want to represent that. Okay, so you've got their personality down. Now, how do they express their personality? So, for example, they could be a super sweet character, but they're super reserved on the outside. It's good to have an idea of how they express their feelings. Are they outspoken? Are they quiet? Do they use big gestures? Do they use tight gestures? And how do you express this visually? So that comes down to their posture and how they move. So always do some iterative drawing of this, think about how they express themselves. Do they talk with their hands? Do they stand up super tall? Or do they hide and shrink down because they're super shy and scared of everything? There's so many different ways you can do it. Think about your character visually and how they move through the world. That'll tell you so much about their design and what their design requires. And while you're thinking about that, you should also be thinking about how their clothes express their personality and how their clothes move and accommodate for how they express their personality. So, you could have a character who wears suits all the time because they want to look professional and they're very uptight and clean and stuff and neat and tidy. You could have a character they move with very big gestures and graceful movements. So they're always wearing dresses because they like the freedom it gives their legs to move around, right? So how do their clothes represent their movement and their personality? Do they hide in their clothes? Do they not care about what they wear? Are they messy? Are they neat? Do their clothes deceive their personality? Do they dress like a slob, but they're actually a neat freak? That one would be weird, but I digress. There's a lot you can do, but you should really be thinking about it when you're designing your character. So now that you've got their personality down, you know what clothes they're going to wear, you know how they express themselves, how they move. It's time to choose a primary shape for your character. Now, a primary shape can be as simple as a circle, or a square, or a triangle. Those should be your starting points. So once you choose this shape, everything about your character's body shape, about the shape of their clothes, it's all going to be based off this shape. It doesn't exactly have to be based off everything. They don't have to have circles for every section of their arm, but the way their arm looks is gonna feel like a circle looks. Now, these basic shapes do have different meanings associated with them. So, circles are generally associated with, safety and softness and friendly characters. Squares are associated with stability or heaviness or strength. Triangles are generally associated with, cleverness or cunning or danger. So a lot of hero characters or child characters are based off circles because they're super friendly and soft, whereas a villain character, a lot of them are based off of triangles because they're very sharp and dangerous and crafty looking. So you can go with any of those and that's totally great. You can make super solid characters off that, but you can also mix and match the shapes for more distinct designs, especially as you get into a big cast of characters where they can't all be based off circles. So, heart shapes, teardrop shapes, gumdrops. You could have a character who's a square with really rounded edges versus a character who's a square with really sharp edges. There's a lot of versatility with these shapes. So once you've chosen their main shape that fits their personality, you'll want to choose kind of like a secondary design element or shape that adds to their clothing or their personality. So I usually associate it with clothing because that's a big part of how your character will express themselves. Some examples of these like repeating design elements would be like vertical or horizontal lines, or arches, or flower patterns, or if their main shape is a circle, maybe the secondary shape is a square. So these are little elements that will repeat throughout their clothing to add a little visual interest and to augment their personality even further. So for example, you have a character who's made of squares, who's super sturdy and stable, and they have great posture, and you give them vertical stripes to accentuate that great posture. That's just one example. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can take it. Okay, so you have your shapes down, you have your repeating shapes down, the personality, all that good stuff. Now to choose colors for your character. So just like shapes, colors have emotions and meanings tied to them. You probably already know them instinctively, same with the shapes, and it's very subjective too. But like generally, like you probably know them, but like red is associated with like passion or anger, orange is like friendliness, yellow joy, purple mystery or royalty, black and white are like evil and purity or mystery or sterility. So you want to choose colors that augment their personality and show their personality in their clothing. But yeah, the colors should express a part of their personality. Now once you've picked out some colors that you like, that fit the character and the personality, all that good stuff, narrow it down to 3 colors. One will be your primary color, so it's going to make up the majority of the design. It could color, their coat or their hair or the majority of their clothes, whatever, but it should take up at least half of the design. It's the major color. Then you should also have a secondary character, which will contrast or complement the primary color. Just like the name of it says, it should be used less than the primary color. Maybe make it take up between like 1/4 to 1/3 of the design. It's there to highlight the primary color. And finally, you have your tertiary color. This should show up in tiny little highlights throughout the design. Bits and bobs, accessories, whatever, tiny little details. It should maybe take up like 1/8 of the design. Not very much space, but it's still there to add visual interest. And when you're picking these colors, always make sure to keep contrast in mind. If you have a character who's like all one color and all mid-tone or all pastels or all dark colors, their design can be hard to parse or it can be boring. So adding, say, contrast between the primary and secondary color can add a lot of visual interest. It can lead the eye around the character's design. It'll make, visual interest. It'll make interest. Is that what I'm talking about? I'm really confused today. I'm all flustered. Make sure that all of the elements going into your character express their personality. And like I'm always talking about, make sure to iterate on their design, try different colors, try different shapes, and see what really shows your character's personality. You'll find that doing all of this, instead of kind of going off gut reactions, you'll be able to say more about the character at a glance than you would otherwise. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or if you'd like to request a video topic, please leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!